Hello, this is Spellbinder during the weekly newsletter of G. Edward Griffin for the Reality Zone. And these are the headlines this week, March 10th through the 16th, 2012. Headlines you may have missed. And the first thing is this comic strip, Food for Thought. And it makes perfect sense of what Monsanto is doing to the world. What have we done in the building? It's perfectly safe. Giant carrot, the attack of the killer carrots. Anywho, now to the headlines. Ireland. Major oil and gas discovery this week is expected to spark a much-needed influx of capital that could go a long way to offset the national debt and the need for a second bailout. Luck of the Irish. Daily Mail, March 15th. Yeah, it reminds me of John Belushi on Saturday Night Live doing a skit on the news part saying something about a friend of his who was Irish, and he had all this bad luck, and he says, yeah, the luck of the Irish, sure. And he went off and had a spaz on the show. It was pretty good. You have to check that out. You can find it probably on YouTube. Next, the UN International Criminal Court, the ICC, has convicted Congolese warlord Thomas Lembenga of using child soldiers. This is the first conviction for the court and is expected to open the door for many more to follow. The ICC is intended to be the judicial arm of the New World Order, centered at the UN. Piece by piece, the structure is being built and is near completion. Scary, Americans, this should scare you. LA Times, March 15th. UN video. Council on Human Rights is investigating U.S. state laws that require photo ID to vote. The theory advances that requiring a photo ID to vote is a human rights violation. Many UN member nations now require citizens to have biometric IDs to travel or engage in commerce. But no one at the UN is concerned about that. That's what those nasty American states are doing that must be investigated. Hypocrisy rules. Fox News, March 14th. Oh, man. The only remaining mainstream media reporter covering Ron Paul has been pulled from that assignment, despite Ron Paul's popularity and relevance. Prison Planet, March 14th. Yeah, they just stopped covering him altogether. He's doing great. He's got a lot of stuff. He's actually won many of the first states that had their votes, and they cheated him. The GOP themselves ripped him off. Pretty sad when you got criminals in the GOP. Chinese Premier Wen Jiabo says that China must embrace democracy to avoid another cultural revolution and survival economically. Words, words, words. The communist definition of democracy is merely communism modified slightly to allow totally controlled voting to appease the restless masses. Kind of like here. As Lenin himself said, words are one thing, actions are another. Daily Mail, March 14th. Orlando, Florida. Airport cancels contract with TSA. Yay! And instead will retain the services of a private security firm to do customer-friendly screenings. Very good. InfoWars, March 14th. Yes, get the government out of your pants. Please. Afghanistan. U.S. soldier who is believed to have gone on a shooting spree, killing 16 citizens, including 9 children, has been flown out of the country for his safety from angry rioters. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, who is visiting Afghanistan, spoke to U.S. troops, urging them to continue with their mission, undeterred by the unpopularity of their presence. Voice of America, March 14th. Oh, and also Defense Secretary Leon Panetta was so afraid of his own troops because of what his statements were in the Senate earlier, saying that they don't take orders from Congress but from the UN. They were afraid somebody was going to have a constitutional thought and took all their weapons away when he came there to make a speech to them and made them powder weapons outside. That's how scared these people are running right now. They know they're doing unconstitutional and illegal things in America, and they're scared. And that should be it. Former U.S. VP Dick Cheney canceled his visit to Canada due to security concerns over protests and fear of being arrested for war crimes. Yes, and so is Cheney and Bush. They don't go to other countries anymore because they got warrants out for their arrest for war crimes. They're actually prisoners in the States. This is amazing. These criminals are getting caught up. We can only hope that Buford is correct, that they're bringing these people to justice. Benjamin Buford, yeah, he's been talking this, and it seems to be happening. This video of the Oklahoma GOP Central Committee meeting shows how the establishment tried to prevent Ron Paul delegates from being accepted, but failed to do so when an amendment was proposed and passed to amend the rules. Anyone serious about becoming active in their political party needs to see this to know what to expect as the old guard attempts to preserve its power. That's right. The dinosaurs are trying to retain power, but it's time for a Ron Paul revolution, a new and a return to constitutional ways in America. We don't want to be warmongers of the world. We want to be friends. It's true. We're friends with them and trade with them. We won't be at war with them. If we're not over there for the banksters stealing all their wealth and their minerals and their oil. Man. Lou Rockwell, March 13th. Bioethics professor at New York University recommends mass drugging of the population to make them ill if they eat meat and improve their environmental consciousness. That's right. He also proposed genetically altering babies to be smaller. That's right, so only the rulers will be tall above their subjects, thus reducing their food consumption and carbon footprint. That's the excuse. Since this is offered as supposedly for the greatest good, for the greatest number, his proposals are consistent with collectivism. Yes, they are. Another word for communism, socialism, Marxism, Stalinism, you name it, collectivism is it. It's collecting all the power into one small group, and they're the ones that have it all, and the rest of us are servants under the system. What it's all about. InfoWars, March 13th. Russia says it will continue selling weapons to Syria despite pressure from the West and the UN. Guardian, March 13th. They have the right to do that. They have military and economic interest in Syria. Sorry. U.S. businesses owner threatened with jail time for flying the American flag in America. Why? Because it was on city property by 1 foot. What is the city saying? That they're not American? That they don't believe in the flag of America or symbol of this country? What does it say? Fox News, March 13th. U.S. gun sales boom as the election approaches. Buyers are worried that soon they may not be able to purchase firearms for protection. KCBD, March 13th. An interest item to remember. News report reveals that Monsanto's Roundup Ready herbicide is destroying microbes in the soil, which are vital for the plant growth. And these changes may be irreversible. They may have doomed the planet. Thank you, Monsanto, for your evilness. Traces of this herbicide now are found in all water systems in the U.S. It is not an overstatement to say that Monsanto's so-called scientists already may have doomed the planet's biosphere. Yeah, we may all be doomed anyways now. Thank you, Monsanto, for your greed and evilness of wanting to create unnatural abominations. Natural News, March 12th. Man, it makes me mad, actually. UK, government plans to have vehicle license plate recognition cameras at gas stations to prevent uninsured vehicles from refueling. It's for everyone's benefit, of course. And who knows what other uses could be made of data showing where you have been. It's tracking data. Yes, Mirror, March 12th. Afghanistan, a lone U.S. soldier brutally massacred 16 civilians, including 9 children. This plus The burning of copies of the Quran by the U.S. military last month has triggered a Taliban to promise revenge. Does anyone really think that the U.S. military occupation is helping to bring peace in the Middle East or security for America? Give me a break. They're over there doing the opposite. They're saying they're bringing democracy, they're bringing the opposite. March 12th. And they're Orwellians. They use words and they use them backwards, like the different things they use. War is peace. U.S. banks face lawsuits from investors and criminal investigation by the government over manipulation of interest rates to benefit themselves. The hidden story here is not that the banks use the power to manipulate interest rates for their own benefit, but the Americans have naively accepted a fiat monetary system controlled by banking cartel, the Fed, in which banks have the power to manipulate the interest rates for any purpose. Because gold-backed money cannot be created from nothing, its interest rate is determined by the free market, not banks. That's why banks don't want us to go back on the gold and silver standard. It would take that power away from them to control the money. They want the control. But our Constitution says that Congress will control the money. Oh well. KSBW, March 11th. U.S. bill introduced in Congress to impeach Obama or any president if they use offensive military action without authorization from Congress. Good. The bill was written after Secretary of Defense Panetta said that he and Obama seek international permission for military action before they decide whether or not to consult Congress. When the Sessions heard this, he had to question him. He said, "Are you sure you're saying what you're saying?" I mean, right there, they should have been arrested. Panetta and General should have been arrested, rounded up for questioning. This is grandstanding. It is merely a resolution of intent with no binding effect. Collectivist presidents always say that pre-exemptive strikes are defensive, not offensive. And where were these politicians for the last 62 years in which every U.S. war, including the Korean War, was based on international commitments, not congressional declarations of war? WorldNet Daily, March 11th. Yes, it was Ron Paul even brought this up and stated it. He says, we haven't had a declaration of war from Congress in the last 50, 60 years. And, since World War II. And that was the last time. And he's going, well, where's our declaration? What is this? When did the president become dictator? I mean, really? Video. FBI Director Robert Mueller isn't sure if our government can kill citizens inside the U.S. without a trial. Well, Judge Neapolitano is indignant and explains that killing of U.S. citizens without due process of law is unconstitutional inside the U.S. or anywhere else. Period. Alter March 10th. U.S. federal court rules that using news excerpts in the internet falls under fair use protection. Yes, what I'm doing right now. Right Haven, the law firm that attempted to collect damages, was exposed as a business established solely to file nuisances lawsuits. It is now out of business. Thank you. EFF. Thank you, EFF was probably behind that. Electronic funds, March 10th. Not thinking very good. I'm reading good, but I can't think very good today. I'm tired. U.S. 3 veteran groups sued the Department of Defense, CIA, and the U.S. Army for secret chemical tests, including bioweapons on thousands of soldiers. Stars and Stripes, March 10th. Yes, they've been doing this for a while. They've been using stuff on us. Look at the chemtrail spraying. That's a perfect example of testing. Which is population reduction, Agenda 21. Monsanto seeks to expand its joint venture agreement with Sonachem, China's state-owned agricultural chemical company. The goal is to force China's 800,000 independent seed companies out of business in favor of a single entity. And of course, to expand the market of Monsanto's GMO seeds, which are failing and killing and destroying nature. People's Daily, March 10th. Hope China's smart enough to not go along with that, no matter what the price. Video, the easiest way to steal your car. You should watch this 30 seconds. This was not an actual theft, but was staged to illustrate the technique. Information in case you need it. Who knows? Video, amazing dancers at the Cirque du Soleil, I guess. But it's supposedly an excellent video. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. UN Covenant on Environment and Development is proposed treaty designed to place control over all human activities and land use in the hands of UN bureaucrats. That's right, they're trying to give our country over to the UN for control. Traitors, all of them. In the name of protecting the environment, of course. It is an attempt to put legal force behind the UN's Agenda 21, which is a blueprint for global collectivism. That's right, all the world's power under a small group of individuals. Faceless, a lot of them. Also known as faceless bureaucrats in some circles. You should know about this, and then support the candidate for federal office who will pledge to oppose it in its entirety. Guess who that is? PPJ Gazette, 2012, March 14th. That'd be our real constitutionalist, Ron Paul. Go Ron Paul 2012. The video, Crony, it's what it is. Coney 2012 is a video that went viral with almost 80 million hits in 24 hours. It's about a crusade to stop Joseph Kony, a Uganda warlord who kidnaps children and forces the boys into his army to commit atrocities and the girls into sex slavery. The producer of the video wants government to launch a military action to kill or capture Kony and bring him to trial at the UN International Court of Justice. The plan is well thought out, and the movement is rapidly growing. Most people will enthusiastically approve of this plan. However, to stir the pot a bit, we invite your comments on these questions. Should state military forces be used for this mission, or should the soldiers and advisors be strictly volunteers? If your answer is that it's okay in order to men into combat for a purpose other than national defense, what is the source of authority to do so? You will not find it in the U.S. Constitution or the Creed of Freedom. 3. If you believe that such missions are proper function of the state, would you object to launching hundreds of similar missions around the world whenever warlords or crew rebel leaders are found? 4. If it could be shown that certain respectable leaders of member nations of the UN are also responsible for crimes against humanity, such as in false flag operations, aggression, wars for hidden agendas, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people, would you also approve of states sending in commando-like teams to assassinate those leaders? Send your thoughts on any of these questions here. Only under 200 words can be published. YouTube posted March 13th. Yes, send us in. Mr. Griffin would be proud to read your answers to his questions. You gotta know this is a fake. This is to get us down there to steal their oil and mineral rights. They got diamonds down there in Uganda, don't you know? This analysis of the video of Coney 2012 shows the technique used to promote U.S. invasion into other countries. Any student of modern propaganda techniques, especially the use of internet social networks, should study this carefully. Vigilant Citizen, March 13th. Video. Author F. William Ingerdow explains the GMO fraud and touches on many others as well. This is one of the best overviews you'll find on the extent to which mainstream science has been subverted to subvert financial and political agendas. YouTube, March 12th. Obama has added $5 trillion to the public debt. Most of that is in short-term, low-interest rates, 0.3%. Interest that low is good for the borrower, government. But 2 years from now, when those loans are rolled over at 2%, even 5% interest payments will explode. This will crush taxpayers with higher taxes and runaway inflation. WSJ, March 12th. He's just destroying our country. Video, a human attempt to explain to an alien from outer space what government is. You will be amazed at the absurdities humans accept as logical, which make no sense to the alien. This will make you laugh and think at the same time. YouTube posted March 10th. Great photos. That is a great photo. I have to admit, I like that. Big old owl. I mean, that's a beautiful owl. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder saying be good or be good at it. Have a wonderful weekend. And keep an eye on the sky. We never know what the sun's going to do next. Been having some solar activity lately, and we've been getting brushes. Any time we could get the big one. So just be prepared. Be prepared. Have 6 weeks worth of food and water stored away, or at least access to the water and food stored away, canned or otherwise. And just be prepared. So I'm saying they keep talking about being prepared. The government keeps putting out bulletins to its own people to stock up on food. I mean, you got like Quell. He's come out and says his information is saying that the military in Montana has been told to get 6 months worth, or at least 6 weeks worth of food and water stashed and ready. So something's coming up here within the next week or so, or a couple of weeks or everything. Someone said 23rd. There's something's going to happen. So I don't know. Just be wary. Keep an open mind. And keep on studying. That's all I do. Study, study, study. Knowledge is power. Good day.